about police department services and answers to many questions can be found at www.walnutcreekpd.com. If you know the 4-digit extension of the person you would like to reach, you may enter it at any time. To report a crime or request officer assistance, please press 2. For records, 3. You may also report crimes or incidents without suspects via our online crime reporting system. Visit www.walnutcreekpd.com for more information. Please wait while I transfer your call.
Hello, Walnut Creek Police. This is Nairi.
Did you say Mary?
No, it's Nairi.
I'm sorry, could you spell that?
Sure, it's N as in Nancy, Y-R-E-E.
Oh, I'm glad. I would have never got that right. Thank you. I am informed that there was a police officer at my house, and I wonder if you could ask them to call me. I'm a little bit gun-shy with regard to police officers. I got false arrested, and I've had 12 people killed by the Jewish mafia, and they control our police, so I'm a little bit nervous around cops since I've been stalked by Walnut Creek cops. It's mostly PSYOP, but a friend of mine's a battalion chief, and he warned me that sometimes they'll just pull out a gun, shoot you.
Sorry, hold on. I have another call. Just one moment. Sorry about that, sir. Go ahead.
No problem. Anyway, I have a friend that's a battalion chief and a police officer, and he told me in my situation that they can just pull out a gun, shoot you, and then drop one. That they often carried what are called drop weapons in their trunks, so I'm just a little bit nervous about cops. So in any case, can you find out why there was a police officer at 1169 Alfred Avenue? My address comes up for this number, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. So we weren't out at your house. My officer may have knocked on your door. There was just a vehicle parked out in front, so we were just checking on the car. They may have knocked on the house door just to make sure, the vehicle wasn't stolen, if you knew anything about the car, how long the car's been sitting there.
What car are we talking about? There's no car in front of my house.
So it looks like it's a silver Toyota pickup, and the door's been open the last 48 hours.
Oh, it's parked in my driveway?
Yes, in the driveway. Very concerned citizen had called in, and she said that the door was open yesterday, but she didn't call in. So she called again today because the door was still open. So she was just worried about the car.
Oh, okay. Well, good. So in any case, yeah, I must have, when I unpacked my groceries, I must have left my door open. Was that Neelam across the street?
I'm sorry?
Was that Neelam across the street? Must be.
I can barely understand. You said, is that who across the street?
Neelam.
Are you asking if that's the person that called in?
Yes.
No.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, that's sort of, I was going to say that's sort of odd because she has my number, and normally she would just call if there was a situation, or even knock on my door. But anyway,
no,
yeah.
It wasn't any of your neighbors.
Pardon me? Say again?
It was not any of your neighbors, no.
Oh, somebody drove by?
I don't know if they were in a vehicle. I didn't ask them that.
Okay, you see, the thing is, in my scenario where you've had 12 people of your friends just drop dead in your social circles, do you know about, let's see, what's his name? Brendan O'Connell in Australia? Probably.
I don't know a Brendan O'Connell in Australia.
Okay, he was sort of famous for fighting the Jewish hegemony. I'm doing the same thing, and so he's had 6 people die. They murdered my next-door neighbor, by the way, just as an FYI. She was this girl. I might as well go ahead and file this now.
Sorry, hold on. I have another call. Just
go
one
ahead.
moment. I apologize. Thank you for holding. Go ahead.
No problem. Why don't you have who's the commanding officer on duty?
That is going to be Sergeant Brown.
Is there any way you could have Sergeant Brown give me a call?
Sure.
Okay, good. That way you don't have to do two jobs at once.
Alrighty.
And tell him to make sure he has a recorder with him. That way he doesn't have to take notes because I'm going to unload a bunch of information on him. I think they have that
Okay,
capability.
sounds good.
Don't they have that capability by definition?
To record?
Correct.
They do.
Okay, great. And what's his first name?
It's Andy.
Andy. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, Tim here.
Hi, Tim. Sergeant Brown from Walnut Creek PD.
Hi, Sergeant. Thanks for getting back to me.
No problem.
I have, did you get the part about making sure you have a recorder going?
No.
Oh, great. You do, she told me that you have, maybe it's because she knew you had one. Don't all cops have the ability to record conversations?
Sure. Now I'm recording. What's up?
Okay. Anyway, I've had, there's very good reason to, for a little bit of background information, research a case called exposed by video by the person named Brendan O'Connell. It's Wild Wild West Brendan O'Connell. It's basically his testimony as to what happened to him. And it's almost identical to what has happened to me, and we're fighting basically the same people. We have people in this city, and also Lafayette, that are trafficking children. And my child was one of these children. And they have some sort of mind control that I don't really fully understand, but I recognize it now, and I know that it's very real. And I didn't know about it before, of course. We're pretty much kept dumb as dogs. I got disabled about maybe 8 or 9 years ago, so I've been reading and researching ever since. Big problem. Don't ever do that, by the way. But anyway, I sort of had no
Sorry,
choice.
Can I put you on hold for 1 second?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry.
Don't ever do that.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No
I had
problem.
an urgent call. Okay.
Let's see, I was hoping in Walnut Creek that it might be a little bit quiet, but this is a Friday. Is Friday a bad day for you?
It's been a busy day so far.
Okay, anyway, the bottom line is he's got into a tangle. The people that are doing this are basically the Jewish mafia. And they are like, make the Italian mafia look like Girl Scouts, excuse me. They are extreme, they have bottomless pits of money. My children are half Jewish, by the way. So if you happen to be Jewish and I step on your anti-Semite, if somebody told me this 10 years ago, it would have tripped my anti-Semite buttons. But in any case, my ex-wife is Jewish, and my kids are half Jewish. And that's not like being half Catholic, by the way. It's quite different. But only people that have been with Jews a lot understand what that means. But anyway, like for example, your mother has to be Jewish. And that has nothing to do with religion, obviously. But in any case, to cut to the chase here, I've had, because of what I know about them, and detailed knowledge as to how they're going about this, after 8 years, of course, it took me a long time just to figure out who the hell it was. But when I did, after 9/11, I was pissed off, and I'm still really pissed off. Because, we have done everything for this group of people as a country, and me personally, and then to find out these betrayals, 9/11 and 7/7 were both Jewish jobs. There are many PhDs who are quite smart, by the way. Not anybody can get their PhD. And I don't know if you know Dr. Sobrowski. He was the former head of the Army War College, Marine. And he's part Jewish also. And also Dr. Steve Piesniak or something like that, who is also full Jewish. Anyway, both these guys and a lot of other military people are fully aware of what happened with Israel basically being the hand of the king. Behind this is really London, but in any case, that has nothing to do with me, except these are the same fuckers, and excuse my language, I'm sorry in advance, but I'm a little bit irate because these suckers are trafficking children, and they trafficked my firstborn. My daughters are very pretty, and when I say pretty, I mean on a 1 to 10, they're like 12s, and number 1 was highly intelligent also. She was the first girl to play on the Akalani's football team in history. So she also had a lot of spunk, a lot of courage. So in any case, that's the one they decided they wanted, and they used elements of your force to pull this off. The elements of the police are involved. And a friend of mine who's a chief, by the way, told me, you got to be careful, and be careful of those guys they send to your house, meaning police. They'll shoot you and drop a gun on you and say you drew on them first. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous when it comes to police. He's been working law enforcement for about 30 years.
Mr. Anderson, it is a busy day, so if you could cut to the chase.
Okay, the chase is I've had 12 people murdered, including my next door neighbor. So I hate to waste your time with murders, but we've got like 12, including my next door neighbor who was allegedly somehow involved in a fire, but and these murders happened right after I spoke to these people. She introduces herself. She was married to this old grungy fart. I didn't know him very well. Next thing I know, she's dead, supposedly in a fire. Now, if you drew my social circles, and I've got a PowerPoint presentation that I'm working on a chart, before and after, you would see 95% of my social circles are dead. My 2 oldest male friends had Jews come into their life. They represent 2%, allegedly, of the population. That alone is a mathematical anomaly. I'm a systems analyst. I do math very well, or I know math very well. So I don't know if you know what an actuary is, but they do that sort of math, and I can tell you the math is very broken. You don't have 90% of somebody's social circles suddenly dead for various accidents, fires, and health care.
Okay, I'm going to repeat. What is the nature of your call today?
Well, let's see. So far I've told you about 12 to 13 murders.
What's prompted you to call the police department today?
Well, there was a police officer who came to my house, supposedly because my car door was open.
Okay.
And this is not the first time I reported. This is the first time I've reported at this level, but in terms of the overall. But once I saw other people that were fighting this Jewish mafia having the same sort of, let's say, mathematical irregularities with their social circles, including fires, I know that they've murdered all these people. What do you suggest I do? Now, this is, most of these happened outside of Walnut Creek.
Right.
So what would you do if you were in my situation? They control your commanding officers. Some, not all of them.
Where do you think the murders happened?
Well, in various places. They use doctors to kill people, just like General Patton. They got him in a car accident and then basically killed him in the hospital. So it's kind of hard to prove a lot of this stuff.
Right. Well, that's the thing. So if you want my advice, and you say, okay, there's these murders going on, okay, you need to find out where they happened and then contact that agency where they happened. If you don't believe that agency is going to be able to handle it because of you think there's corrupt individuals inside that agency, then you may want to contact the federal authorities.
Okay, see, the problem is this is interagency, and there needs to be somebody with a head for math to say, there's definitely something going on here. You don't have, like I said, this. If you saw this on a PowerPoint, you'd go, wow, this is not normal.
Okay.
These are not accidents. This is not health care.
No, I understand the probabilities and all that. So that's my advice. That's my recommendation.
Okay, Mr. Brown, think about it. Now, this is going to be maybe even 13 different agencies, each one of them looking at, one of the things that happened to me was this happened in your precinct. They cloned my voice, called my daughter, and trashed her mother in a message, and it sounded like it was me. So when I knew it wasn't me, obviously. I never would have done that to my daughter, and I called the police, and guess what they did? They called my daughter and said, have you had anything unusual going on? I told them specifically. They cloned my voice. These people simulated my voice to trash my relationship or to piss my daughter off. So what did they do? They threw the case. They basically called and said, or went over there to investigate, quote unquote. This is just one agency. And said, have you had anything unusual or threatening happen? Well, she hadn't. It wasn't threatening and it wasn't unusual. In her mind, her dad called and trashed her mother and she was angry. There's nothing threatening or unusual. Well, let's put it this way. She said no, and that let them off the hook. And it was designed. And I filed a complaint with Internal Affairs.
Okay.
But, so in any case, this corruption... so you know what? This is why, and this is why you haven't heard until the cops show up knocking at my door. My buddy said, be very careful with those guys. And he's a cop. He was number 1 in his class.
So my understanding is we were called there with regards to the door being open and potential for that vehicle to have been burglarized or the theft from a vehicle.
And they left the door open. I mean, seriously, have you ever heard of a call such as that?
Job for 13 years. These things happen. We were doing our job by contacting the citizens of this city, which is you, and making you aware of it, or trying to determine if there is a crime. Since there's not a crime, that's all we did.
Okay.
If you're concerned about reporting a crime and you're concerned about 13 agencies being involved, I suggest you go to a federal agency who has a broader jurisdiction than what you're talking about. And I don't know how more clearly I can say that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty clear on that. I've attempted that, but this is a very high-level criminal organization. They control the banks. They will go after these cops. They know the same thing will start happening to them. They seem to know it. They're not going to risk their friends and family starting to show up dead. So yeah, it's kind of a catch-22, which is why you haven't heard of it in this particular scope heretofore. I've lived here a long time. A similar case was when, anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I guess what I'm going to have to do, but I want this documented somehow. So,
you want documented. You're not able to tell me anything.
I can give you, I've got a list, I've got an outline with all the names right here. There's a whole long list of people that are basically dead, and some of these people are some of these people were dead because of natural problems. It's just that when taken at the total level, there's no way. But sorting this through and even proving this for a prosecutor is not going to be easy. One of them involved my nephew committing suicide, quote unquote.
Okay. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, you've already told me. I think I've got the point. I think you can see my quandary as well, I'm sure.
Cases, that are outside of jurisdiction. So,
call the FBI.
The way to do it is to the FBI. That would be my recommendation. But if you're not comfortable with them, I don't know. I don't really have I don't really have an answer for you.
Well, it's not just. What if? How do you go to a different FBI? Like I tried calling, for example, and if you say it's Jews, they you're a racist. And that's really what they said. I said, this is a Jewish mafia, and believe it or not, I know if I said Italian mafia, I would have probably got somewhere. But these people seem to be conditioned. So, in any way, basically I was called a racist, and I know damn well it's a Jewish mafia, the same people that did 9/11. And that's not even in question, by the way. But in any case, I got your point.
I wish you the best. I mean, obviously you're passionate about this, and it bothers you.
Well, murders, having 12 of your friends murdered, well, how would you feel?
I feel the same way.
Yeah, obviously, it's kind of upsetting. But, when they're trying to swallow your country at the same time, that's what this is. I know Kabbalah and numerology, and all these so-called lone nut murders, they're not. They're Jewish. Every one of them I can prove mathematically is a Kabbalah ritual. So what would you do about that?
Well, nothing if it's not my jurisdiction. So
So that's a federal jurisdiction, right?
Right.
Or the city in which each one of these little rituals was performed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, paid by the citizens of San Francisco. I don't. I get paid by taxpayers of the city of Walnut Creek.
Right.
To do my job.
And,
well, that's who I have to be accountable to. That's what we were trying to do our job today when we went out and talked to you and make sure that your stuff was still fine and nothing broken, no one had broken into your car.
Well, the door, there was no sign of forced entry. I'm really kind of amazed that they would waste your time on something, a door open. That's a total waste of your time.
Okay.
But anyway, that's my 2 cents. But I guess in Walnut Creek, when you don't have, a lot of gangs, other than this one high level that runs around in white shirts and ties, you probably don't have a lot else to do other than maybe dead bodies, I imagine. Like meaning people dying of old age. So, okay, officer or sergeant, thank you for calling me. I appreciate it. This is, I kind of suspected this is where this would end. Because I had specific jurisdiction. And what do? They threw the case. So if you can't, when you've got everything in the same jurisdiction, you can't get a real investigation, you're pretty screwed. Yeah. So in any case, that's why you haven't heard about this before now, and I'm not quite sure how to handle it. I've been documenting this. I have a blog called dragonspaw.blogspot, and I've been putting this online. And it hasn't really helped my personal situation, to say the least.
All right.
So in any case, thanks for calling anyway. I appreciate it.
Well, someone who's got more reach, broader reach than we do to handle the issues that you're alleging. Okay.
Well, if the FBI won't help you, who is there?
I don't know, honestly.
There isn't anybody above them other than CIA, and it doesn't get better as you go up.
Right.
So, in any case, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Have yourself a good day.
All right, you too.
Bye.